Hornets locked in. Oh, that was crafty. All day. Courtney Lee into the bag of tricks. Dwayne Wade, tough angle. Walker, splash. Whiteside on a rack attack. A strong statement in the series opener.
From Miami, it's the NBA playoffs on NBA TV. Better than 72 hours removed from the Heat's dominant series opening victory here on Sunday. How do the Charlotte Hornets respond? A team that overachieved for much of the season. The answers to that question and more as we welcome you to Miami for this Game 2 of this opening round best of 7. The Charlotte Hornets and the Miami Heat division rivals in the Southeast. Hi, everyone. Welcome courtside in Miami alongside Mike Fratello. I'm Spiro Ditas. We'll hear from Rebecca Harlow in just a couple of minutes. Mike, no team wants to get blown out by 30+, certainly not in the opening game of a best of 7. Knowing what you do of the Hornets, what do you expect from them tonight?
I would expect to see a highly competitive game. This team has a lot of pride. There's a lot of character on that team. They know they're much better. They split the season series with Miami. They have to come out from the beginning of the game with great intensity. They did not do that in game number 1. Miami did and jumped out with 41 points in the first quarter.
Franchise record for the Heat in terms of points in a quarter, 41 in that opening quarter, and franchise mark for most points in a game. Auto Trader sponsors our starting lineups. No change for either team. Walker did have 19 points in the opener on Sunday, but just 1 assist. And that vastly different from the very balanced Kemba Walker we'd seen for much of the season. There was some talk that maybe Al Jefferson would be inserted into the starting lineup, but he again will come off the bench. And no changes for Miami.
What Zeller gives him as a starting center is speed and quickness to run the floor. What Jefferson gives him is a big load to score points down that low post area. Maybe we see him inserted a little bit earlier tonight rather than waiting at his normal slot to rotate in.
Game 1, really a breakthrough win for this Miami team. Obviously missed the postseason last year, first time since 2008. The departure of LeBron James a couple of years ago. It's really the first time that this current group is going through the postseason, and it just seemed like they proved something, Mike, to themselves with that lopsided win on Sunday.
I would think we need to give a lot of credit to front office president Pat Riley and ownership Mickey Harrison in kind of restructuring and developing this new Miami Heat team, which, when you look at some of their young core pieces, this could be a strong group for a lot of years to come, particularly if they add one really good piece at the end of the year.
Miami has won 7 straight in this building. Last team to beat them here were the Hornets back on March the 17th. As Luol Deng rarely missed in the opener on Sunday, was 11 of 13 from the field to score 31 points. This is Zeller. A little bit outside of his range, and a much better start for the Hornets.
But notice how they had to pull Whiteside out to guard against that jump shot, which takes him away from the front of the rim, protecting that basket.
This is Dwayne Wade, efficient 26 minutes in the opener, scored 16 points. Here is Hassan Whiteside underneath, and that was basically what the entire game 1 looked like. Whiteside getting layups all throughout that game.
But you see what he can do to Zeller. He just basically moved him out of the way to get the shot off. He can't do that with Jefferson.
A little pick and roll action between Walker and Zeller.
See Whiteside size him up, face up, puts it down. Now once he gets behind the backboard, he just moves back into him, moves Zeller out of the way, finishes at the front of the rim. Too easy.
Not a bad way to begin your postseason career in the NBA. Whiteside 21 points and 11 rebounds as Zeller misses on the first. Hornets on Sunday attempted 28 free throws in the first half, most given up by the Heat in a half in franchise history.
Spiro, you know, at some point, if Whiteside's hurting you that bad, maybe you have to go back and double him, because Miami is not one of the better three-point shooting teams. They rank 27 to 28th in the league in three-pointers made and three-pointers attempted, so you're not worried that much about the three-point line.
Zeller got a hand on it, knocked into the hands of Johnson in the corner. Shot clock down to 6. Johnson fires. That's a 3 over the top of Nicholas Batum.
The reason Joe Johnson had to take that shot, they wound up fronting Whiteside to the low post. Zeller got on top, dared him to throw the lob pass. Joe Johnson had to shoot the jumper.
Platoon trying to answer. 24 points in the loss on Sunday. But so what an addition Joe Johnson has been. Cut by the Brooklyn Nets in late February, signed with the Heat on February the 27th. This has been the perfect complementary piece. What a find. Whiteside underneath for Dwayne Wade.
Whiteside felt the rotation. He knew he had nowhere to go. Looks for his teammate and throws a beautiful pass. There's your 7-foot point guard for the Miami Heat.
Here comes Kemba Walker. This is Zeller. Underneath, going right at Whiteside.
Well, remember now, Whiteside a little cautious because he picked up early fouls in game number 1, so I'm sure that's a little bit in his mind.
So Zeller with the first 5 points for Charlotte. We're 2.5 minutes gone by. This is Dragic. Really outplayed Walker in terms of balance. And certainly as a playmaker, setting the table for his mates. Had 10 assists in the opener. Wade. A little turnaround shot off the pivot. Up the floor comes Batum. This is Courtney Lee. Boy, got Johnson to bite. And one thing the Hornets have done consistently now, a couple of minutes into game 2, and that is get to the free throw line.
Well, they did that in the last game, and both of these teams come in ranked as one of the better teams at defending without fouling. They don't normally put their opponents on the free throw line for a lot of free throws. However, having said that, Charlotte did shoot 37 foul shots in game number 1. That's a large amount.
Well, their game 1 performance, as Lee misses the first, notwithstanding, this was just a very good Hornets team over the last couple of months of the season. From February 1st on, they were 25-9. Only Golden State and San Antonio, coach, had better record than this club did over those last 2 months. Just an incredible finish to their season.
Amazing how some teams come back from the All-Star break and they're done. They're finished. They've had their best for the year. Others come back and they seem like they were rejuvenated over the All-Star break. Charlotte's one of those teams.
Closed the regular season winning 7 of their final 10 to get that 6th seed and a postseason berth. This is a 3 from Walker, and that's good.
Such a dangerous jump shooter, particularly when he's taking it off the bounce, off the dribble, where he gets that rhythm, gets his legs into that jump shot.
Wade gets a screen from Dang, who just kind of walked the defender down the paint, and Wade left wide open. We're tied at 9. 4 points for Wade with 8.5 to play in this opening quarter. Here's Walker, where that extra day of rest really helped him, kind of tweaked his knee early in the second half on Sunday, but looks good here in the early going.
What you notice already is because of better screening, better spacing, Dragic has not been a factor defending him. Last game, Dragic was all over him. He smothered Kemba Walker.
Walker trying to tie him up, and he does. Excellent defense from Walker, who is still looking for his first postseason win, 0-5 as a starting point guard in the NBA playoffs.
You could hear Steve Clifford, the head coach, talk about Kemba Walker. What a great affection he has for him. He understands the great leadership this young man has given this team.
16th in the league in scoring, and here he comes, going right at Dragic. Whiteside clears. 2-point Heat deficit. This is Dang spotting up. Dragic, perfect pass. Luol Deng rejuvenated after that switch to the power forward position. After the Heat lost Chris Bosh post All-Star break. Look at Walker contorting his body. And the call here, a foul on the shot. So it'll be Kemba Walker at the free throw line, grimaces in pain. And more free throws for the Hornets. When you play as aggressively as Kemba Walker, you're going to get banged around.
And, you know, that foul was really a late call by the official. They wound up calling it on Whiteside, and it was way past the other side of the rim, and it was a late whistle. If it's correct, I never minded a whistle being late if it was correct. If it's, you know, doubtful, then you leave it alone.
Okay, live scores, stats, custom alerts, and video highlights on the NBA app. Download the official app of the NBA playoffs on your phone or tablet right now. So good start for Kemba Walker and Charlotte. He has scored the last 7 points for the Hornets. This is Wade. Now to Dang. Whiteside. And this will be a forearm hand check, I believe, on Zeller. And that will be his first personal. And you could just sense, Mike, the confidence and the aggressiveness of a kid in Hassan Whiteside, who again is going through his first full season. Hard to believe in the NBA.
And they were concerned, people. They were doubters that when he got to the playoffs, would he be the same guy, putting up the same kind of numbers that he did during the regular season. I think game one showed him that he's for real.
Dragic's pass to Whiteside is late. It's the second Heat turnover at the 7:14 mark of the first. There's Eric Spoelstra. It'd be hard-pressed to find many head coaches in the NBA who have accomplished what he has, Mike, before the age of 45.
You know, both of these head coaches, if it weren't for Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich having the season that their teams had, these guys had to be in consideration for the job that they did this year with both of their teams.
All things considered, I mentioned, of course, LeBron's departure a couple years ago, Bosh's absence, the injuries that they've had as Whiteside over the shoulder alley-oop slam. And we are tied at 13. What a pass and an even better finish from Whiteside. This is Batum off the screen. Fakes the little shovel pass and gets a friendly bounce for the Hornets. Batum, the eighth-year man, French national. This is Wade spinning baseline right. And the rebound by Batum. Courtney Lee, little hesitation to freeze Dragic, and then it's Whiteside in the block. Wade ahead of the field.
That's what the shot blockers do. They ignite the offense. He blocks it back onto the court, which leads to a fast break rather than blocking it up into the stands.
Half dozen for Wade. This is Zeller. Boy, he looks confident at the start. Cody Zeller, 7 points. With just under 6 minutes to play.
Perhaps he sensed that his starting job was in a little bit of jeopardy after game number one.
Career highs for Zeller in points and shooting this season. That's Wade. Look at it off balance. Wade then saves it underneath. This is Whiteside. Six points for Whiteside. Miami, 8 of their first 13. Here comes Walker. Outside. This is Marvin Williams. That's a 3. And Whiteside with another rebound. All tied at 17. We've seen some hot shooting at the start. Hornets are 6 of 11. This is Dragic. Absorbing some contact. Finds his spot. And Miami back in front.
Took on the big man, lowered the shoulder a little bit, and created some space. And now Whiteside picks up his second personal foul. That's one of those kind of, you kind of shake your head, you go, what are you doing? Just kind of threw his arm out, hit Zeller, picked up the foul. But here's the block shot that ignited the fast break for Miami, and Wade runs out. Here he is with a simple little jump hook, elevating up over the top. Hassan Whiteside for 2.
Two-point Heat lead back in Miami, but it's the Hornets off to a much more aggressive start, and a start that they were expecting to have in game one. Welcome down to the sideline, everybody. I'm Rebecca Harlow. Now, when I talked to Kemba Walker before the series even started, the first thing that he told me was how ready this team was to get out and play. Therefore, so surprising to see them give up 41 there in the first quarter. After the game, I asked him simply, what happened? He said, I was so fired up to get out there and play that the excitement just drained my energy. I was exhausted in the first quarter. But Spiro, Mike, Charlotte, very confident that they've shaken those nerves and they're ready to attack. As we've seen them do early here, they believe the defensive mistakes they made in game one were mental errors, guys.
Yeah, Rebecca Walker calling game one their worst performance as a team on the season. It's a much different story, at least so far in this first quarter. Wade misses on the turnaround, so a 2-point Charlotte deficit. Jeremy Lin in for the first time tonight. Also, Justice Winslow checking in for Miami, and the other rookie, Josh Richardson. Both of those two so impressive this season for Eric Spoelstra. A loose ball foul called underneath. This is on Winslow, the rookie out of Duke, and that's his first personal.
Spiro, both teams missing key guys, their attack. Obviously, Chris Bosh meaning so much to the Miami Heat, their organization, and question mark remains. Will Chris Bosh come back at all during the playoffs? Is he done for the regular season? No one wants a comment about it. It's just kind of like left out there right now, and you got to kind of figure it out if you want to. Meanwhile, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist for Charlotte. What a valuable piece he is. Terrific, big-time defender. Gets on the boards from the rebounds. He's become an improved offensive player and allows him to play the small forwards, and they would play Batum with his size at the 2 guard if they had him, which they're not going to.
And Kidd-Gilchrist out since February 19th, right shoulder surgery. What a loss he's been in solidifying the Charlotte team. Justice Winslow. He has made his bones early as a rookie, as a defender, but boy, we know this kid can score going back to his collegiate days at Duke.
It's one of the guys I was talking about Pat Riley and his staff selecting and putting together his team as Walker misses that reverse layup and comes right back with another opportunity. Lynn for 3.
Marvin Williams able to track it down. Shot clock resets. Walker getting a couple of good looks, and the rebound knocked into the hands of Dwayne Wade.
No, the last game, because of all the free throws, Miami, Wade with the deuce and 1. I was starting to say 20 more field goal attempts last game for Miami. That's a whole lot of opportunities to be down for Charlotte. So early on, second and third shot opportunities. There's Wade turning the corner, finishes, and the contact.
8 straight points for the Miami Heat. And Wade 4 of his first 8 with 8 points in 9 minutes. Dwayne Wade still doing it, 13th year in the league. This is his 11th postseason appearance. NBA All-Star for the 12th time in his incredible NBA career. How did the Hornets respond here? They've missed 5 straight shots right before that Jeremy Lin floater. And when the Hornets have been at their best, Lin has been engaged and producing for Steve Clifford.
And Lin at times will take some unorthodox, let me put it that way, type shots. You might say poor shot selection, but he makes awkward shots like the last one he just made.
Wade thought about the 3, and just out of sorts. A little bit too unselfish with it. Throws it into the Heat bench as Miami turns it over. 3rd Heat turnover, one of the rare mistakes that they've made early on. 2 and change in a 5-point Heat lead.
I'm excited, you know. I'm excited just being wanted by teams, you know, and just being able to actually, instead of always chasing teams around, you know, this team's gonna be finally calling me, and you know, it's gonna be an exciting time. But right now, I'm just kind of focused on being with my team and we're in Miami.
Oh, what a story this Hassan Whiteside has been, playing against his hometown team. Grew up in Gastonia, North Carolina. Drafted by Sacramento, early 2nd round back in 2010. Washed out after about a year. Had to go overseas. Was out of the NBA, Mike, for 2 years. Played up in Lebanon, China. Really humbled him, according to what Eric Spoelstra told us. And says that this experience playing against his hometown team has been surreal.
Well, you know what? Playing in Lebanon and China will get you to concentrate a little bit harder on trying to make it full-time into the NBA. And this young man is going to have big decisions to make at the end of this season because of the amount of money that is going to be offered to him. And he's going to have to think about, what does he want? Money, only money, or does he want winning and success that goes along with it? Because he may have a couple options at the end. Other teams can offer him 4 years. Miami can offer him 5 years. Does he take, like LeBron did in Cleveland, a 1+1, looking to the year after that, where then they can reward him even bigger? Does he want to do what Wade did for this team, allow them to build and go out, so take less money, as Wade did, and they were able to go out and surround them with better players? Those are all decisions he's going to have to make.
I think he should hire you as his agent one. Let's get more now from Rebecca.
Well, guys, teams are going to want him because he's become such a complete player on defense. I was talking to Dwayne Wade about his progress yesterday, and he said, you know, we've seen him block shots all along, and he's been able to do that. But where he's grown the most is in his ability to read coverages. He said he's finally in a place where he can see what's coming ahead of him, a step ahead, and that he's worked really hard in the film room. We see how physical he is on the floor, but he's really working on the basketball IQ side, guys.
All right, Rebecca, most blocks on average by an NBA player since Theo Ratliff back in 2001. As Amari Stoudemire turned the side of the paint. Here comes Jeremy Lin. He's been very aggressive in this opening quarter. And the Hornets within a point. Lin with 6 off the bench.
And the other matchup we should look at is Amari Stoudemire is now in guarding Al Jefferson. As we see, Dragic hit the 3. And Jefferson was a little bit too big, a little bit too strong for Whiteside in the first game. Whiteside picked up 2 quick fouls. Eric Spoelstra likes Stoudemire banging with him better than he does Whiteside. And again, 2 quick fouls for Whiteside.
Nice handoff. Jefferson giving it right back to Walker. Again, as Steve Clifford said after Sunday's game 1, offense has not been the issue for us. We just have to figure it out defensively. This is a 3 from Richardson. The rookie was lights out from downtown after February 1st. Shot 53% from 3 from February on as Jeremy Lin continues to go right at the rack. And another foul against Miami. It's on Dragic, and that is his second.
You just saw Dragic go over to Amari Stoudemire, and they talked, both of them, for about 7-8 seconds there. And it's about that high pick and roll, because what's happening is Dragic is on the back of Lin. He's following him rather than be able to get over it and get back in front of him again. And you know, Lin's got pretty good size at that point guard position.
Charlotte already with 11 free throws taken here in the first quarter.
Here's what I'm talking about. Dragic is behind him rather than being in front of him. He needed help from Stoudemire, and as a result, Lin gets down around the basket and draws the foul. So that's Dragic went over, talked to Stoudemire. That's your buddy, that's your teammate, that's the guy that's playing the screener. You got to work that out so you understand how you're going to play it from now on.
So Dragic joins Whiteside on the Heat bench with 2 personals, and Gerald Green is inserted by Eric Spoelstra. Good start for Lin. 8 points, 4 minutes off the bench, and we are tied at 27.
So what you're hoping to see from Gerald Green is the explosiveness, the 3-point shot all of a sudden. 10 points in maybe a 6-minute span. That's what he's capable of doing. And Spoelstra will give him a quick look. If he knows it's one of his nights that he's got it going, he'll keep him on the floor. Otherwise,
offensive
out.
Foul. A little bit too aggressive that time, working underneath against Lin. And the Hornets get it back. So you lose game 1 by 32. We all kind of wondered how the Hornets would respond. What have you seen so far?
This is exactly what we thought would happen. Very similar to what happened with Dallas and Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City tattooed them in the first game. Dallas looked like they had no chance. Oklahoma City was so aggressive defensively, Dallas couldn't get a look at a clean shot. But what happened? They came back and won game number 2 because there's character and there's pride in the organization. They had excellent coaches. Rick Carlisle, you knew he was going to have them ready, and they did it.
That's Josh Richardson on a long 2. And boy, you talk about figuring it out during the season. What a close to the regular season for Richardson, the rookie. Kemba Walker earning more free throws for the Hornets. These will be the 13th and 14th free throws taken by Charlotte. Miami, conversely, just 1.
Walker that time blow him by, then he stopped suddenly just before he got to the basket. And again, we talked about how many they shot in game number 1.
Foul charge to Richardson was his first.
Here he goes by, turns the corner. So a quick stop and the contact. It looked more like he jumped into Stoudemire than Stoudemire moving into him. And Amari was trying to get his arm free from Jefferson, who had him tied up.
Walker, an 85% free throw shooter. 16th in the league in scoring. Scored 30-plus 13 times this season. That was 4th best in the Eastern Conference. He's got 11. And we are tied at 29.
We were only in the first quarter and 14 free throw attempts for Charlotte. Miami usually gives up only 21 free throw attempts per game. This is not the norm.
Closing seconds of the quarter. Johnson, errant pass. Winslow is cutting baseline, and that's the 6th Heat turnover.
One guy thinks you're spotting up. The other player, Winslow, decided he was going to slice cut to the basket. That's how your turnover happens.
Hornets, shot clock off, down to 4 seconds. This is Walker on a 3. Rebound, Jefferson will not get the shot off in time, as that takes us to the end of the first. So a much different scenario than what we saw Sunday in game 1. Hornets getting to the free throw line and playing with the Heat step for step. End of 1, tied at 29 on NBA TV. Welcome back to Miami. Moments ago, Rebecca Harlow catching up with the head coach of the Hornets, Steve Clifford.
All right, Coach, you were looking for a different energy tonight. How would you describe what you got from the start here?
Yeah, I mean, a lot better. You can see our ball pressure is better. Our pick and roll defense is better. They made more shots over the top. It's our post defense. We can't allow those early entries. Then our offense was a lot better.
Miami has 6 turnovers. You guys have 0. You've got to like those numbers.
Yeah, no, and it's all an energy thing. Again, we can't get too spread out down here with the pick and rolls, but we were better.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, you would have to think he's excited. They scored 7 more points than last game in the first quarter, and they gave up 12 less points than last game, where they had given up 41 points at the end of the first quarter. So that's got to make you feel good as a head coach.
What a marvelous coaching job by Clifford and this Hornets staff. 15-win improvement from last season, tied for the biggest improvement in the league this season with the Knicks. Clifford has taken them to the playoffs 2 of his 3 years in Charlotte, as this franchise has been rejuvenated, but now trying to break through after that 32-point loss in game 1.
Last season, they had so many major injuries. It really wasn't fair to judge anything about that team because it just wasn't the same squad. They made a couple changes, brought a couple new players in this season, and Steve Clifford's still a terrific coach, just like he's been since he came to Charlotte. Gave him stability. They believe in him. They're organized. They defend well. They play hard. This is a franchise on the climb.
This is Luol Deng on a 3, and he gets the friendly bounce. 5 points for the 2-time All-Star. 12th season. Native of the South Sudan. What a career he has had. This is Frank Kaminsky. Very tentative in game 1. Misses, but it's tipped back in by Jefferson. Jefferson still trying to find his full form. Had that torn meniscus in his right knee back in December. Missed an extended chunk of the season. Desperately need him to have some big games in this series. That's Justice Winslow on a deep 2.
Well, Winslow came into this league with a man's body ready for the NBA. Now what they work on is development of his offensive game. Get a consistent shot from him in that mid-range area and his ability to put the ball on the floor and create and make good decisions.
This is Lynn. That'll be the 2nd personal. Check that, the 1st on Stoudemire. As we go back to the Winslow J.
This is what we're talking about. Being able to step into that pocket 16, 18 feet away and make that mid-range jump shot. He doesn't have to do everything at once. He's a rookie. He's very young, 20 years old. Get him to get that mid-range game down, the ability to put it on the floor, drive it to the basket, a strong body who can take contact, and then you'll, little by little, expand his range. He'll get back behind that three-point line.
Now, Mike, Pat Riley, who, of course, is the architect of this team, and even Eric Spoelstra, in his first 6-7 years here, you didn't really see him rely too much on rookies, and that's one of the big differences with this team. Winslow and certainly Josh Richardson, as Jefferson hits a mid-range shot to cut it to 1. Just a different approach and dynamic for this Heat team.
Yeah, sometimes you have to play who your best players are. If the best players happen to be young guys, 20, 21, 22-year-olds, then you play them. But they have to understand the responsibility that goes with that opportunity to play.
Here's Richardson. Fouled on a 3. It's on Lynn. Well, he's only a rookie, but certainly learned some of the tricks of the trade. May have embellished that call a bit. He'll shoot 3 free throws.
This is pick number 40. Okay, a second rounder out of Tennessee, who after that All-Star break area, right, even a little bit before that, around the midpoint in the season, they started to use him more and more. They watched him in practice every day. He's a terrific competitor, can really defend, gets after the basketball. Then they started to watch him making shots, and they decided to use him. He made shots in the game, just like he was doing in practice, and he became part of the rotation. And now you got 2 youngsters coming off the bench with high energy that both can defend.
Richardson, between November and up until January, shot 21% from 3. After the All-Star break, he shot 53%. That was the highest number during that stretch in the entire NBA. I can't ever remember such a dramatic shooting improvement in a rookie season, Mike. You've seen a lot more basketball than us, but just incredible the strides that this kid took over the last couple of months.
You know what's great about it is some people get the moment and it's too big for him. He got the moment, he got the opportunity, and he seized that opportunity and has made the most out of it. Now, people know who he is around the league. They respect his game. Look, down the court, picking up the basketball, trying to turn it, trying to force a turnover.
He took him 40th in the NBA draft, and what a selection that has turned out to be by Pat Riley and company. This is Jefferson, stolen by Wade. First Hornets turnover. Winslow got caught in midair. Kind of changed his mind, so the Heat give it right back. Up 4 with 9:29 to play in this first half.
Sometimes those youngsters get going so fast, they go too fast and they get out of control. And there's Pat Riley, the architect, with his lovely wife Chris sitting next to him. And Riley's done just a tremendous job for this organization. You know, you think about it, Pat Riley has been involved with the NBA for 50 years now. 50 years as a player, and then coaching and front office, as we saw Jefferson hit that little medium range jump shot.
And he doesn't age, does he?
Yeah,
I know that South Florida sun does
it's been good to him.
What a run he has had. This is Richardson, a thing of beauty, coming baseline. Well, who says he can only shoot the 3? He's got that ability to cut and slash. 4-point game. Jefferson gets the quick answer for Charlotte. Jefferson, 8 points, 4 of 5 shooting in 8 minutes off the bench, and all 8 of his points have come in the quarter. This is Dang, that's a 3. And the rebound pulled by Batum. Hornets have Batum, Lee, Kaminsky, Lynn, and Jefferson. There comes Batum, going right to the rack. And Charlotte with 4 quick points. And we are tied at 39.
Well, Batum is really long, isn't he? He puts the ball on the floor. He covers so much ground with just a couple strides and then his length to finish.
That's Whiteside playing with 2 personals, getting right back to work. Miami back in front.
You put a little pressure on Jefferson if you throw the ball to Whiteside and make Jefferson have to move his feet, and there's the lob over the top.
Jefferson! No one behind him, and an easy deuce. Charlotte has hit 6 straight shots. We're tied at 41.
A little bit of confusion right there. Whiteside fronted. The weak side, which was Wade, wasn't ready for that. They weren't expecting him to front. Had their head turned, the lob happens, and it winds up leading to an easy score.
This is Wade going right to the rim. And boy, this Miami offense has been incredible. Franchise record for points in a postseason game Sunday. They are 18 of their first 26 in this first half.
They scored 56 points in the paint in game number 1. And Steve Clifford talked to us about we've got to keep the ball out of the paint. That's what Miami wants to do.
Jefferson has scored 10 straight points, making a dozen. Right over the top of Whiteside.
Well, the problem is if you decide you want to double team him because he's too much to handle, then that opens up the 3-point line, which is exactly what Charlotte wants.
Oh, this is Richardson a moment ago, flying through midair. And then Jefferson, 12 straight points as Charlotte going punch for punch with the Heat on NBA TV.
Vince Cellini in our NBA TV studios. The Minnesota Timberwolves agreeing to terms with former Bulls coach Tom Thibodeau to become their new head coach and president of basketball operations. Scott Layden will join him as the new GM in Minnesota. Now back to Miami.
All right, Vince, that was the big piece of coaching news, the big shoe that everyone was waiting to drop, and awfully big news in Minnesota. Here in Miami, all tied at 43, just under 7 to play in this first half. Mike, your reaction to the news of Thibodeau going to Minnesota?
Well, congratulations to Mr. Taylor in Minnesota, because they just got themselves one of the best coaches that the NBA has had over the last 10, 12 years. And he's such a highly organized guy. He will develop the great young talent that they have. That's a great job for Tom Thibodeau. That could be a franchise that goes on a 12, 14-year run of success.
Richardson's three a little bit short, nicely set up by Wade.
And let me also mention Scott Layden, pretty darn good pickup by Thibodeau right away, coming out of San Antonio's organization. In his own right, in Utah, he did an excellent job.
That franchise certainly going in the right direction. This is Jefferson. Boy, he is hot. 14 straight points for the Hornets coming from Jefferson. 7 of 8, and all of it has come in the quarter. Charlotte back in front. This is a much different team than the one that we saw here in game 1.
You see players down in their stance, knees bent, arms working hard. That means they've got their focus, they're into it, and that's exactly what's going on. How about Whiteside? They look unorthodox sometimes, his shots, but they go in at a very high rate.
Whiteside has a double-digit game already. 10 points, 5 of 5 shooting. Hornets on a ride the hot hand. Whiteside defending Jefferson. 6 to shoot. Jefferson going right around Whiteside. Stepped out of bounds.
And the next step in the development of Hassan Whiteside as a defender, you know, he finished 3rd this year as best defensive player of the year. He's got to become a better one-on-one defender. And here's Jefferson, first of all, backing in. He gets that jump hook up so quickly, up over the top. And then Whiteside, who understands that he's got to do a better job of meeting him early, getting him out of the paint. You can't give him those high percentage shots.
Hello, Miss Grant Hill and Kristen Ledlow on a new episode of Inside Stuff presented by Samsung this Saturday, 1:30 Eastern Time, only on NBA TV. Nightfall in South Florida. 12 ties, 4 lead changes. If you've just joined us, this has been an awfully fun first half here in game 2. Spiro Ditas, Mike Fratello, Rebecca Harlow. This is Dwayne Wade. Miami shooting 68% if you've just joined us. Wade, rare miss. Whiteside sticks it back.
Spiro, if Charlotte can ever tighten their defense up, here they were in a tie game coming out of timeout, and Miami was shooting 68% from the floor. Now, Charlotte was shooting 55, as we see Batum missing, but Jefferson again on the glass with the tip in. The big thing Miami's done is take away the three-point line. 1 of 6 for Charlotte shooting threes, which is a major part. They're 4th best in the NBA. They shoot almost 30 a game.
Charlotte hit 873 threes this season. That was the 7th most by any team in history. But their three-point shot just has not been there. Miami's taking it away. That's Johnson. Pretty spin and a high-arching floater.
Joe Johnson relatively quiet, just his 2nd field goal attempt in this game.
This is Jefferson. Look at the spin. Whiteside swallows him up. And then Johnson nearly the steal. Lost it out of bounds. Shot clock at 9 with under 4 to play. Just over 4 left in the half.
This is where Whiteside plays. He plays down in front of the rim. Look how big those big hands go up there. And once he gets it in that area in front of the rim, you just either have to foul him intentionally or he's finishing.
Whiteside with a dozen. He's 6 of 6. Look at Walker. Little pass underneath. Jefferson misses a bunny.
That's the Whiteside effect. He made Walker give it up because Walker saw him there, and then he affected the next shot by Jefferson.
Under the 4-minute mark before halftime, here's Wade. 11 points. Into the corner, that's Winslow on a 3, and he got it! 7 for the rookie. Miami Miami shooting 69%. Jefferson. Whiteside able to poke it loose. Dragic ahead of the field. Well played defensively by Lee coming over. Lee thought he had all ball.
Dwayne Wade tries to turn the corner. Once he sucks in that defense, there's Winslow, the rookie, in the corner. And my goodness, he's getting more consistent with his shots. And now watch Whiteside. The one-on-one defense we talked about. This is where he has to get better, where they can count on him, trust him. He comes around, deflects it, which leads to the opportunity for Dragic in the open floor.
Dragic hits on the first. Mike, it's a much more competitive game, a lot closer than where we were at this point in game one. Yet defensively, just doesn't look like Charlotte has made any strides. Miami really getting any shot that they want. It's been incredible to watch.
So maybe we told the coach, you only have to improve one thing right now. That's his offense is better than it was in game number one, obviously. And seriously, Steve Clifford, one of the better defensive coaches in the league, and he knows how good his team can be. But Miami right now, and he gave him credit when we met with him before the game. He said they've done a terrific job of execution at the offensive end of the floor. We've got to be much better.
Winslow crowding Batum on the shot. Officials say it is a two-point attempt. They'll go to the replay monitor to take a look and determine whether or not Batum will have 2 or 3 free throws. That's the second on Winslow. Our crew chief is Mark Davis as he comes over to the table.
We can tell right from there. It's tough to see if that left toe with that angle is on it or behind it.
So the officials say it was a three-point attempt. So 3 free throws for the Frenchman Batum. What an acquisition he was for Charlotte. 24 points in game one. Did have some ankle issues late in the season. They rested him in the regular season finale. But Batum says he is just about at full strength. Coming up, national television postseason schedule. Some good ones. Cleveland in Detroit as that series shifts to Motown, and Spurs, Memphis. ESPN2 has Atlanta, Boston in game 3. And then Sunday, Spurs, Grizzlies, and Golden State and Houston. Both games on ABC. This is Dragic. Finds a spot and buries a 3. It is target practice for the Heat.
You want to go underneath the screens. Dragic stops, gets his feet set, hits the three-pointer.
Here comes Walker so quick. Almost lost his footing. Walker able to stick with it. 5-point game. Mike, it's incredible. It's only a 5-point game. Miami shooting 70%, and they're still coming.
Not a whole lot to say after that. You said 70%. He drains a 3.
They are 6 of 9 from deep. Walker coming back for more. He has 15 points, 6-point game. But can the Hornets get a stop? Ding. And he's going to the free throw line.
They've got Charlotte so concerned about the fact that they're shooting the basketball over 70% right now. Every ball fake, they're leaving their feet flying. You saw Deng show it, put it on the floor, and go right by him. Deng shows and goes. The foul takes place. An opportunity for the three-point play. Little bit of excitement from the bench.
All right, Vince, 8-point lead for Miami. The Heat shooting 71%. Hard to believe they have carved up the Charlotte defense. And miraculously, it is an 8-point basketball game.
I'm thinking back to Eric Spoelstra before the game and talking with us. Remember, he kind of looked at 123 points from the first game and said, well, you know, it was just one of those games. And here they are with 62 points already in a minute and 40 left.
And Kemba Walker has almost single-handedly kept him within striking distance. It's been he and Jefferson. 17 for Walker, 16 for Jefferson. With all of Jefferson scoring coming here in the second. Shot clock at 10. Johnson underneath, Whiteside trailing, and a foul. Charlotte cannot stop the bleeding.
It starts with Joe Johnson, who caught it and put it on the floor immediately with his left hand, drove the middle of the floor, and that's the paint area that Steve Clifford talked about. Watch him get in. Here's the paint. He draws Zeller. All of a sudden, who's cutting to the open spot? Whiteside for the easy finish, and now a free throw attempt to try and complete the three-point play. That's what Clifford said we must stop. He said Miami wants to get in the paint, and they're doing it.
Whiteside still has not missed. He's 7 of 7 from the field. Miami has barely missed as a team. 15 points for Whiteside. Largest lead of the game for Miami. Walker. A little hesitation dribble and beating Whiteside to the rack. 19 for Walker. This is Wade. Boy, contact was not called. Wade staring down Bill Spooner. 9-point game.
And that's what Wade was trying to do. He felt the slap or the contact he felt and just got it up there hoping for the call.
Batum, assuming the contact was coming. Never did. Up the floor comes Wade. Dang for three. That's good. Miami gashing the Charlotte defense. Jefferson. 4 Heat players in double digits, led by Whiteside's 15.
Sure, you see the pace that Miami's played out. There's a purpose behind it. Let's see in the second half if Jefferson has the energy to put another 24 minutes in the way he did the first half.
Everyone on their feet. Wade. Walker to the rim, and it will count. I'm not sure what's more astounding. Miami's 74% shooting, or the fact that the Hornets are only down a dozen.
Got to go in the locker room and be able to tell that team that we've got to defend better. Here you see the shot clearly up on the glass before the red light goes off. Rolls around the rim a little bit and drops in for Kemba Walker.
Heat scored 67 points in the first half on Sunday. They score 72, and that is a franchise record for most points in a half. A first half masterpiece by the Miami Heat, up a dozen over Charlotte at halftime here in Game 2. Well, you're a fan watching that kind of offensive outburst. You work up an appetite. How about a little pastrami at halftime as we welcome you back to Miami. A dozen-point lead for the Heat as we welcome you back courtside alongside the coach Mike Fratello. I'm Spiro Ditas. We'll hear from Rebecca Harlow in just a couple of minutes. That was astounding. 74% shooting for the Heat. They shatter their previous record for shooting percentage in a half.
You just don't think it's going to keep happening. But the next guy that came in started making shots, and it was one after another. And it's not like they ran away from Charlotte. Slowly, they pecked away. In fact, Charlotte tied the game up, took the lead for a split second. And now all of a sudden you look up and here's 72 points on the board. An incredible offensive performance. And, you know, Steve Clifford warned us before the game. He said, we are so impressed with Miami's offense. We have to do a better job. And he felt that with the off days, they could zero in and take away certain things. Well, it hasn't worked in the first half.
Our game summary presented by Taco Bell. Their previous high for shooting percentage in a half of any game, regular season or playoffs, was 63%. That was back in 2006. They shatter that number tonight, and also 43 points in the second quarter breaks the franchise mark that they set here on Sunday.
Well, when you get easy baskets like this because of the block shot defense by Whiteside, then Dragic stepping back, hit a couple early jumpers. His confidence was sky high. And then the unselfishness versus the double team. Whiteside finds Wade under the basket. That's going to allow you to shoot 72% when you play unselfish basketball the way Miami did.
Mike, I'll ask you kind of a silly question. What can Steve Clifford do to tweak this defense and just get any kind of resistance against what Miami is doing?
I've always felt the first thing in great defense is ball pressure. The guy guarding the basketball has to be able to put pressure on it, keep the ball in front of him, and if you do that and force them into being a jump shooting team, you have a much better chance than when you allow guys to go by you off the dribble and create opportunities for themselves or other people. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Clifford talked about the fact that they got to become more physical, they have to be more aggressive, they have to take a personal challenge of stopping that guy in front of you with the ball.
Let's go to Rebecca Harlow.
Well, Spiro, I asked Steve Clifford the exact same question. What are you going to do here to make some adjustments on defense? And he said, you know what, Miami's hitting some contested jumpers, and we can live with that. They're hitting some really tough shots. They're a good team. That's going to happen. But he said we have to do a better job taking away their strengths. He said specifically they're spreading us out on defense and creating space to get inside. We have to take that away here in the second half, guys.
Rebecca, Charlotte gave up 67 first half points in game one. They give up 72 here tonight. And you just wonder, physically, can they keep up with this pace, Mike, as Miami has really quickened the tempo after what we saw on Sunday. Zeller missed initially. Williams a couple of tips. Still can't put it down. Zeller. Boy, 7 or 8 opportunities, and they come up empty-handed.
Crowd a little sarcastically applauding when they finally got a rebound, and there's another in the paint, high percentage shot. Luol Deng taking the pass, finishing right in front of the rim. Dwayne Wade just kind of punched Whiteside jokingly in the chest, saying, like, get on the glass and rebound the basketball.
Here comes Walker. Walker scored Charlotte's final 10 points in that first half. Dragic finds his spot. Had a good look at it, and Zeller clears.
Dragic was going to take it all the way to the basket. He had a clear lane, only Zeller in front of him. I thought he was going to try and force the action.
Batum, little head fake, going to work on Johnson. And it's back to a 12-point game. 9 points for Batum after he went for 24 in the opener on Sunday. Spiro Ditas, Mike Fratello, Rebecca Harlow, our producer Bert Bondi, Andy Goldberg, our director, rest of our NBA TV crew from Miami. Shot clock down to 5. This is Deng. Three-pointer off the side of the rim, and the rebound by Zeller. These two teams finished with identical records in the Southeast Division, 48-34. Zeller misses the runner. And here comes Dragic. Again, as Clifford said after Sunday, offense has not been the issue, and really hasn't been tonight. Hornets shooting 50%. But their defense has been carved up by Miami. Walker finds Williams cutting down the paint. Boy, missed everything on a little floater.
Guess why? A guy named Whiteside was right in front of him. He was anticipating Whiteside was going to get his arms up. He never did.
Marvin Williams was 1 for 7 in game 1. He's 0-4 so far here in game 2. Whiteside. He is 8 of 8, 17 points.
You're not going to be able to force the ball down, have Whiteside go into the pocket area and try to rotate Kemba Walker over to stop him. Not happening.
Now we know Whiteside was cranky after finishing 3rd in the Defensive Player of the Year award earlier this week as Courtney Lee hits a little mid-range shot. People wondered how he'd react here in game 2. And I guess we have our answer. He's been nearly perfect. This is Wade. Going right at Lee. And a loose ball foul charged to Luol Deng.
You know, I thought the two players that finished ahead of it, Kawhi Leonard and Draymond Green, both of them will see Whiteside right there. He saw he had Kemba Walker on him initially, so it's not a challenge there. The other guys just couldn't get back in time to help out. But when you think about Leonard and you think about Draymond Green, both of them have won championships. Both of them have been in the league a few years. Both of them play multiple positions defensively, and that's where Whiteside will grow.
It's Kemba Walker trying to single-handedly keep his team within striking distance. It's only a 10-point game, as incredible as that seems. Walker now at 23 points. Here's Wade. He's got 15, finds Johnson, spotting up for three. Miami 7 of 12 from deep. Rare miss from the outside. Here comes Lee. As we come up on 8 minutes to play here in the third.
The Spirit almost seems like a lull to start the second half after that outstanding first half.
Charlotte turns it over, 2-on-1, and then Wade gives it right back. This is Batum on an open three. Well short, shot clock resets. Williams still looking for his first bucket. Back come the Heat. This is Wade. So Miami finally cooling off, up 10 as we come up on the 7-minute mark of the third quarter. Heat have won 7 straight here at home. The last team to beat them here, the Hornets, back on March the 17th. That basket from Lee will count, and then Zeller is fouled off the ball, so a chance at a 3-point play here for the Hornets. And it will be Cody Zeller at the free throw line for one. It's on Wade, and that's his second.
Wade not happy with the fact that the official didn't make the call he felt he should have made initially. And Wade basically took his leg and stuck it under Zeller and wiped Zeller's legs out, and that's how Zeller landed on the floor.
Miami in the quarter is 2 of their first 8. Mike, you knew they couldn't maintain that kind of incredible shooting, and suddenly it's a 7-point game. Here comes Dragic underneath. Tried a very tough reverse and a late whistle. That'll put Dragic at the free throw line.
Dragic is always on the floor. Watch him playing defense on the ball. Hitting by one screen, hit by the second screen. And it's part of the reason why after game number 1, head coach Eric Spoelstra allowed him not to practice. They put him in the ice bath, tried to get that body back because there's so much contact from Charlotte when they set multiple screens for Kemba Walker to come off. Dragic is trying to go over the top of him, so you got to get up into the ball and fight over the top of those big bodies, and it takes its toll on you.
4th personal on Zeller, so Jefferson has to come back in. You look at Dragic's scoring numbers, they increase steadily, like month to month during the season. Average over 16 per game in the month of March, over 17 in April. And this is now the speed with which Dragic wanted to play when he came over in the offseason.
He wasn't used to playing the other way, half-court sets all the time. Walker taking it to the basket, gets it rejected. Remember, Dragic playing in that Phoenix system was up and down, open court, you know, a shot every 7 or 8 seconds. But when he came to Miami, Miami was playing. Remember, you've got Bosh who was playing, and they were different. They were a half-court team, not an up-and-down team. But when Bosh went out and Eric Spoelstra made the adjustment and the change, it allowed Dragic to get back towards what he was used to playing. A great adjustment by Eric Spoelstra. He has done a terrific job this season.
Dragic back in the NBA playoffs, 2nd time in his career, as Williams continues to struggle. 2nd air ball he shot in the quarter. He's 0 of 9. Just past the 7-minute mark, 3rd quarter. Here comes Wade around the Whiteside screen. This is badly. Rebound Jefferson. Lee spotting up from 3. The tip by Williams won't go. Johnson up the floor to Wade. Pump fakes, but Jefferson a nice job to pull back, but Wade hits nonetheless. 17 for the 12-time All-Star.
You know Wade was trying to get the foul. That's what he wanted. He wanted Jefferson to leave his feet, and the official said, nope, he went straight up and down.
Batum again expecting contact, shot that off balance. Wade underneath, Lee trying to pick his pocket, was out of bounds, did have possession. Not full possession, so 18 on the shot clock for Miami.
See, there's the fake, and he wanted Jefferson to leave his feet. He turns and looks at the official as if to say, there was contact, but instead he'll settle for the basket.
Wade has been such a monster in his postseason career. One of 3 active players in the league. And has averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in the playoffs. Only others, LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. Josh Richardson, the rookie, checks in for Miami. Wade skips it. This is the rookie. Open 3. Got it!
Spiro, remember in the first half, Al Jefferson was on fire, 8 of 11 from the floor. But the pace was up and down. Anxious to see now in the second half if, in fact, he can find that same energy. He hasn't had a field goal attempt since he's come back on.
That's Batum, a little bit short. Tracks down his own missile. Fire a 3. And a rebound by Whiteside. Hornets have cooled off over the last couple of minutes. Their shooting percentage for the game now down to 43%. Johnson steps between 2, and it's all working. Timeout, Hornets.
You can't have Joe Johnson in the low post against Kemba Walker. You must come and double team. Joe's too good, too strong, too big.
Spero Dinas, Mike Fratello, Rebecca Harlow back with you in Miami. 5:20 to play, third quarter. Largest lead of the night for Miami if you've just joined us. Hornets offense has hit a wall. They've missed 7 straight shots before Courtney Lee. It's that little mid-range J to cut it to 13 points.
Miami's defense certainly came out much better to start the second half. Charlotte was shooting 56% at halftime. Now they're down 43% from the floor. A major improvement.
This is Dwayne Wade, 17 points, builds on that point total. He has been lights out, 9 for 17 in his 24 minutes.
Look at Richardson make Kemba Walker work. Every time he picks up his dribble, Richardson is all over him. He picks him up in the backcourt. He's making him work, have to earn an open shot.
Again, Jefferson bothered by Whiteside's length, 7 to shoot. Whiteside all in his chest. Jefferson, look at the footwork by the big fella. 18 points in 18 minutes off the bench.
Yeah, in all fairness to him, that injury when he missed all that time and came back, and Steve Clifford decided to bring him off the bench rather than start him. He had Zeller moved into the starting lineup. Jefferson hasn't really had a chance to get back to his normal playing weight because of lack of practice time. This guy's feeling it tonight. Looking over the defense. Dwayne Wade, what a fight away from the corner. And then you have the one-on-one Al Jefferson, the pump fake, and then he takes it right into the big man, gets it up so quickly that Whiteside can't get his arms up quick enough to challenge that shot.
You talk about Jefferson's health. We know about that torn meniscus in his knee in December. Last time he was in the playoffs 2 years ago against the Heat. Hurt his foot in the opening game of that series. Was never quite himself after that. As Richardson shedding the defender Walker, calmly drills it. He's got a dozen.
Yeah, right now you better wipe up under that basket when they come down this end because it's very slippery. There's water all over the floor from the players' bodies landing on the floor.
Miami's shooting percentage at 68%. They have hit 5 straight shots. Whistle blowing at the other end on Wade. That's his third.
Richardson, does he shove a little bit and get Kemba Walker off him by using that right arm? Well, the official didn't think so because he winds up hitting that little medium range shot. And again, in the paint for Miami. That's where they like to play.
This is Lynn. Gave him good minutes off the bench in the first quarter. Shot clock down to 5. Walker, 2 to shoot. Crossover blocked by Wade. And then Wade lost it out of bounds. So the Hornets catch a break.
Shot clock running down. You see both players. Wade comes challenging over at the last second, blocks it. And then did the 24-second clock go off in time? And that's why they're
Officials say that Wade had possession, and that's the argument. Spoelstra arguing that it should have been a shot clock violation as Wade gets a well-deserved break. Not only the 19 points, how about 8 assists for Wade. This is Walker on a 3. And the rebound cleared weak side by Whiteside.
Walker has been so affected by the length of Richardson. He just rushed to get that shot off before he knew Richardson could recover.
The rookie looking for more, and he puts it in again. These Miami rookies have been off the charts. Timeout Charlotte. Richardson and Winslow doing work in their first taste of the NBA playoffs. Just Richardson, the rookie out of Tennessee, burning the nets from downtown. A 15-4 run by the Miami Heat, and Eric Spoelstra getting some incredible contributions. Josh Richardson with a coming-of-age moment in only his second playoff game.
Yeah, you're a rookie in your second playoff game. You're not going to shoot the ball well, are you? Well, don't tell that to Josh Richardson. I guess when he was picked number 40, he decided he had to earn his way in the NBA, and he's showing you that this guy is for real. From behind the line, 2 of 4 from the three-point line, 5 of 7 overall for 15 points.
Told you about his progression. Richardson from November to January averaged 2 points per game, shot 21% from 3. After the All-Star break, he shot 53% from 3. And not only the numbers might be, he can play the point as he did in his final season at Tennessee as a collegiate player. Just another interchangeable part and versatile player that Spoelstra has at his disposal.
You know, when Dragic sat out about 2 weeks ago, they let Richardson bring the ball down the floor much of the game, and we're very comfortable with that.
Well, how does Charlotte respond after taking one on the chin, down 18 points? This is Jefferson. Little head fake, trying to get Whiteside off balance, and he has needed all of his offensive skill to go at Whiteside.
Those little shuffle steps he took quickly to gather himself so he could get that jump hook up over the top of Whiteside.
Jefferson with 20, but Miami still up 16 points. Here's Johnson, shot clock at 8, finds his spot. A little bit short, and Jefferson clears. Up the floor to Batum. Hornets don't have numbers. Walker thought about it. He's had to play heavy minutes again on that knee that he tweaked early in the third quarter on Sunday. Final 2 minutes, Batum with 5 to shoot. Lin trying to take Dragic, contact and a foul. So Jeremy Lin to the free throw line. That'll be the third on Dragic. Lin in the first half, 4 of 4 at the free throw line, 8 points in 12 minutes off the bench. Take a look at our upcoming TNT NBA TV schedule. Right now, Detroit and Cleveland. And that last check was tied late in the first quarter. And later tonight, Portland in LA to take on the Clippers in Game 2. And then NBA TV tomorrow night has the Raptors and the Pacers as that series switches to Indianapolis. 7:30 tip coverage begins at 7 with the Auto Trader pregame show. We're in Miami. Spiro Ditas, Mike Fratello, Rebecca Harlow, rest of our NBA TV crew. Offensive foul. It's an illegal pick on Whiteside, and you see him telling Dragic, wait for me.
Wait for me. That's what happens so often, where the player with the ball goes a little bit too soon before that big man. And what happens is they miss the first screen on purpose sometimes to turn around and set the second screen. And if that big man setting the screen right there, he went one way, changed, and before Whiteside could be set, Dragic was trying to turn the corner. As a result, he picks up the offensive foul.
Whiteside picks up his third. So he takes his seat. Amari Stoudemire, who has played late minutes, checks in. This is Jefferson. Shot clock down to 5. Jefferson, soft touch, And again, here come the Hornets now. Every time you think they're left for dead, they've answered. 13-point deficit. Jefferson's got 22. And he has missed only 3 of his 14 attempts. Dragic. Mike, if they can just string together a couple of stops, this could get very interesting. Walker blocked from the back by Richardson.
That's the length of Richardson. Those long arms got it from behind.
Final 50 seconds of the third quarter. Dragic against Lynn. This is Richardson. Little head fake, finds his spot. Left it short. And last touch by Miami.
Spiro, the big thing for Steve Clifford is who else is going to contribute besides Al Jefferson. They need to have someone else step up and become involved with them at the offensive end while they continue to get defensive stops, which is most important.
Now, Walker looks a little bit gassed. He does have 23 points, but has not shot very well here in this third quarter. Shot clock at 7. Walker fires a 3. And you can see it on that shot. Just has not had his legs over the last 8 or 10 minutes. Shot clock off. Dragic will hold 9 seconds with Miami in front by 13. Dragic down the paint. Fight for the rebound. Dragic tips it out. Winslow will not get the shot off in time. As that takes us to the end of the third quarter. Kemba Walker just 1 of 7 shooting in the quarter, as Josh Richardson and Miami continue their offensive onslaught. We are through 3 in Game 2 on NBA TV. Back in Miami, 13-point lead for the Heat. Moments ago, Rebecca Harlow caught up with Heat head coach Erik Spoelstra.
All right, Coach, before the game, you told us you weren't expecting to score another 123 points tonight, but here you are on pace to do just that. What's been so effective about your spacing on offense?
Well, the pace has been good, but we obviously haven't gotten a handle on their pick and rolls and Jefferson in the post. We need to clean that up. That'll help us with our pace going down the other end.
In the third quarter there, you've got Charlotte back down to shooting around 43%, but you mentioned Jefferson. How specifically do you make things difficult on him?
He's tough because he's seasoned, he's clever, he knows how to draw fouls, he can get shots off. We just got to make his catches a little bit tougher and see if we can get some stops.
Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, Rebecca, Mark Stoudemire off a pretty diagram play during that last break between quarters. And Stoudemire to the free throw line, but what a job, Mike, that Spoelstra has done this season. Again, all things considered, Bosch's absence, the young guys having to play big roles just has been incredible.
Change the style of play, incorporate youngsters. They bring in Joe Johnson, great acquisition, or pickup, I should say, when he was released by Brooklyn. And that all comes with ownership agreeing that they're going to pay the money, and Pat Riley going out and convincing his agent that this is the place you should go. And the Joe Johnson thing, I think, is more than just this season. I think they're looking beyond that to try and keep Joe for another year or two after that, and hopefully sign him long range when the season's over. And if there's a bright spot for Steve Clifford, you look for selling points in your timeouts. Just 19 points in the third quarter for Miami. That's a good thing compared to the 29 and 43 in the first 2 quarters they gave up.
Pass intended for Kaminsky results in a Charlotte turnover. This is Winslow. Now to Stoudemire, mid-range shot. He has hit so many times in his career. Rebound cleared by Batum. Hornets have Batum, Kaminsky, Lee, Jefferson, and Lynn. So Kemba Walker getting a much-needed rest after really struggling in the quarter. That's Al Jefferson. He's 12 for 15, 24 points to lead the Hornets. And despite Miami shooting 63%, it's only a 13-point game. Dang left it short. Jefferson with his 7th rebound. Miami has missed 6 straight shots. Boy, Batum turned his ankle, and he is in a world of pain. Winslow charged for the foul. Boy, we know Batum had the ankle injuries late in the season. They rested him in the regular season finale just as a precaution. And you'll see the left ankle nearly turned completely over.
You know, he steps on that foot of Winslow, and that's what rolls the ankle over. Right there, you see it roll over. That's where he goes down in pain.
Batum, such a huge piece, as you see him kind of gingerly in his own power get into the Hornets locker room. One of 6 players this season, averaged 14 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And right now, all the concern on that left ankle as they'll take a look at him in the locker room. This is Kaminsky. Jefferson. Well off. And then a loose ball foul against the Hornets. So suddenly, Mike, you have Walker having to come back in. Wonder how much gas he has left in the tank, and now Batum in the locker room.
Yeah, and Charlotte, because of the injury to Batum, is now playing small. You've got Courtney Lee as your small forward guarding Winslow. So you've got 3 guards out there right now for Charlotte.
Miami in no hurry here, trying to slow the pace, at least for a moment. Winslow. Long 2. Got it! Nine points for the rookie. First field goal for the Heat in over 5 minutes. Hornets desperately need something from their rookie as Kaminsky is fouled by Richardson. That's his second. Kaminsky has attempted only 1 shot tonight in 15 minutes. Looked very tight in his playoff debut in game 1. In fact, was scoreless in nearly 18 minutes. Oh, Skeets, Tass, Trey, and Lee are the starters. Watch them break down the NBA playoffs tomorrow, 5:30 on NBA TV.
Yeah, we talked to Steve Clifford about the fact that Kaminsky didn't give him very much really in the first game, and he said, look, I have a lot of confidence in him. He's the kind of guy that'll come back, he'll bounce back. He's got that stick-to-itiveness that he stays with it, he'll figure a way out. But this is the first time in the playoffs for him as well.
13-point game. This is Dang on a 3. Well covered by the rookie Kaminsky. And here comes Courtney Lee. Batum still back in the Hornets locker room, and it is the same ankle, by the way, that he hurt late in the regular season. Jefferson picked up his dribble, gets it back from Lee, turn around, left it short. Jefferson screaming for a foul. Dame, backdoor Winslow, and he missed the dunk. This is Lynn. Stoudemire falling out of bounds, and a pushing foul is charged to Frank Kaminsky.
Well, it looks like Winslow is there to finish it with authority, and instead that rim jumps up and blocks his shot.
First shot that Winslow has missed in 23 minutes. 13-point Miami lead. We come up on 9 minutes left in regulation. Stoudemire going to work against Jefferson. Hits the pretty little floater. First bucket for Stoudemire, a 6-time All-Star, playing back in his home state. Lee, couple of jab steps underneath. Jefferson is so masterful with his footwork for a guy his size. Able to draw contact, and he'll shoot free throws when we come back.
Go back a moment ago. Stoudemire against Jefferson, puts it down, crosses back over right in front of the big man, hits the little teardrop.
Hi, Vince Cellini at our NBA TV studios. Detroit and Cleveland, game 2 at the Q. Delhi to LeBron, the two-handed throwdown in a tight game taking place in downtown Cleveland. LeBron James in this one with a dozen same as J.R. Smith. Kyrie Irving has 13 and 11 from Drummond to lead Detroit. Now back to Miami, Mike and Spiro.
All right, Vince. Cleveland certainly still looking good in that series, but a tight one so far in game 2. And you look at Detroit, such a great young nucleus that they put together in Detroit.
Stan Van Gundy being given both positions and winds up hiring a very formidable GM, former GM, to go alongside him to help him out. But they're molding and building the team, and it looks very similar to what they did years ago back in Orlando when it was Dwight Howard in the middle instead of Drummond, and surrounding them with all those three-point shooters. That's what they're trying to do now, and obviously play good defense.
Let's get more on Batum's left ankle with Rebecca.
Well, Spiro, Nick Batum out for the rest of the game with a sprained left ankle. Now, you remember he sprained that same left ankle on April 11th versus the Celtics. He missed Charlotte's last game of the season, but the PR staff did tell me at the time that if the playoffs had begun, he would have played in that game. So whether there's any correlation between the two, we don't know. But they did tell me he was 100% heading into the game tonight, guys.
All right, Rebecca, some devastating news for the Hornets. As if this wasn't an uphill climb enough. Down 14 points. They've got to go without Batum now. Again, a left ankle that he turned late stages, or just a couple of minutes ago, I should say. And now you've got to adjust yet again if you're Steve Clifford and the Hornets.
Well, you see how bad it is first. I mean, players have sprained ankles and come back the next game. They get their treatment, and it's treatment like 24 hours around the clock to get them ready for the next game.
Well, game 3 of the series will be Saturday back in Charlotte. As the series switches sites. Shot clock down to 7. This is Lynn. Guarded by Winslow. Outside Walker. 2 to shoot. Walker fires a 3. And he has not only been missing since halftime, he has missed badly.
They are zeroed in on Kemba Walker. It's hard, boy, to get away from Winslow, get away from Richardson, get away from Dragic for all the attention that they're paying to him.
Walker 1 of 8 shooting since halftime. That's Dragic going glass.
He's so good at getting there and then pausing at the last second. And that defender keeps going, moves out, creates space, and then finishes.
Lynn thought about it, coming hard baseline right, and he is whacked. Mike, one of the things we touched on right at the top tonight had been Charlotte's three-point shooting. You know, the historic pace that they were on during the season. They struggled in that category in game 1, just 6 of 17. And tonight they've been even worse. 1 for 15 from deep. And that really has been one of the major storylines to the first game plus of this series.
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, I mentioned earlier, they're number 4 in the league. 4th best team in the league at 2 things. Getting up a lot of threes. They take almost 30 a game. Well, you mentioned right now they're 14 or 15 attempts right now. Okay, 1 of 15. And then making three-point shots, they make over 10 per game. They have 1 make tonight. Well, that's a huge weapon, particularly in today's NBA game. When you eliminate that three-point shot, that's a big plus for you.
The Hornets averaged nearly 104 points per game. First time over 100 as a franchise since 1995-96. And their defense has been the bigger issue, but that three-point shooting, something they relied on all season, has failed them through the first 2 games of the series.
I don't know if you saw that little subtle thing. Dragic backed up. Lynn kept going with him. Then the screen came out, and now they're almost 40 feet from the basket, and Lynn tried to go over the top of the screen. He didn't realize where he was on the floor. You can go under when you're 40 feet away. Let him make a 40-footer.
Kemba Walker digging deep. Only his 2nd bucket since halftime. He's got 25 points. Walker and Jefferson with 50 of the Hornets' 87 points. This is Dragic, 18 points tonight. Over to Deng. Dragic. Spencer Hawes with the rebound. Hawes in for the first time tonight. There comes Walker. Going right to the rim. He is so fearless. A loose ball foul charged to the Heat.
Probably going to be Deng what they felt was a shove off as he went up for that rebound and knocked I guess Kaminsky maybe it was that he knocked out of the way.
It's on Dang. That's his third. So here is Kaminsky at the free throw line. The rookie, a 73% free throw shooter. There's still plenty of time left. Chance to cut it to a dozen with 6:10 remaining. Well, NBA TV, your home for live 2016 playoff coverage. Tune in tonight. After tonight's games, live post-game press conferences, highlights, analysis, and much more coming up on NBA TV.
Spiro, during the season, there are indicators that teams always watch, and when you follow the numbers, you see how true they become. One of them for Miami was leading at the end of 3 quarters. They don't give many away. They wound up 33-7 in those games, and shooting better than 50%, 17-4 in those games. They're well over 50% tonight.
The NBA playoffs on NBA TV is brought to you by Auto Trader. Life happens one car search at a time. By the next generation Kia Optima, official vehicle of the NBA. By Verizon, join a better network because better matters. And by Pandora, the next song matters.
Well, the party has already started here in Miami. As Kemba Walker just 2 of 10 shooting in the second half. You see his numbers for the night, 25 apiece between he and Jefferson. And now with Nicholas Batum done for the night, left ankle sprain, even more pressure on Walker's shoulders.
Well, this is where players like Jeremy Lin, Courtney Lee, who can make perimeter shots from the outside. He's the guy you can count on for 3-pointers. The guy to me that really needs to understand how important and he has been for them is Marvin Williams. He's really had an outstanding season. Yet Marvin Williams has been hard to find out there tonight for Charlotte. 0 for 10 from the floor. Marvin Williams is such a valuable piece and has been terrific the whole season for him.
Now Williams is 1 of 7 in game 1. Career highs in 3-point shooting this season, also rebounds. But he has been nowhere to be found for the first 2 games of the series. That's Kemba Walker on a step back. So maybe one last guess. Still plenty of time. It's only a 10-point game.
Whiteside did a good job switching out on him. He kept enough space between him so he couldn't go by him and challenged the jumper. Walker hit a good one.
27 for Jefferson. This is Winslow. Little left-handed hook shot. Whiteside mistimed his jump. Got it back underneath. And a call here, a foul. Whiteside fouled on the pass underneath. 17 points, 13 rebounds, as Walker is charged with his second. And that is the 4th team foul against the Hornets.
Which is a bad thing because with Miami's driving and slashing attack that they have, puts constant pressure on the defense to move their feet, and then they're in bonus.
This is Wade with Lee on his back. Poked away and a reach-in foul charged to Lee. So that puts the Hornets over the limit. Wade at the free throw line. Second against Lee.
That's exactly what we just talked about. That's what happens when you get to bonus and you give them free points on the board because a little slap foul reaching around for the steal leads to 2 foul shots for Dwayne Wade.
Now here's Wade rejuvenated with all the help and the evolution of the supporting cast. We've talked about some of the rookies. We've had a chance to maybe rest him a little bit more than they wanted. He did average better than 30 minutes per game, but only had to play 26 minutes in game 1. And tonight has gotten plenty of help from the rest of this Miami team.
He's kind of embraced this whole thing that's happened here. He understands what a valuable piece that Chris Bosh is and understands that Spoelstra took a chance changing the offense. Also took a chance playing these rookies, and he's been a mentor to those guys and really has enjoyed what they've done this season.
Walker with the shot clock down to 6. Across the floor to Lee. Takes Wade off the dribble and lays it up and in. So Miami's lead down to single digits. 9 points for Courtney Lee. Come up on the final 4 minutes here in game 2. Wade with 20. Whistle blown off the ball. Again, the Hornets out of fouls. More free throws for the Heat.
See, Wade had cheated over so far because he thought there was going to be a lob pass that when he closed out at Lee, Lee attacked him as he was closing out and went by him off the dribble. So the veteran, reading the play by the opponent, thought the lob was coming. They skipped it across the floor. He wound up getting burned on the closeout.
Joe Johnson, an 83% free throw shooter this season. First free throws tonight. And Miami's lead back to 10. Upcoming look at the series schedule. And we'll have 2 full days off after this one. We told you game 3 will be Saturday in Charlotte. And that game you can see on TNT. And then we will be in Charlotte for game 4 on Monday night, a 7 o'clock tip. And we'll have it for you right here on NBA TV. This is Walker getting the screen, going to the rack, and he missed the layup. Well, he had that burst, but a little bit too quick. Charlotte will retain possession. Shot clock resets. Walker with 27 if you've just joined us. On 11 of 25 shooting. Nicholas Batum done for the game. Left ankle sprain. This is Hawes. Plays his way underneath and a late whistle. That'll put him at the free throw line. It's on Whiteside. That's his 4th.
Sure looked like Hawes had lost control of the basketball as he put it down and attacked the basket, but body into the body of Whiteside, and that's what drew the foul.
And here is the rest of that series schedule between the Heat and the Hornets. Then game 3 comes your way on Saturday. And it's such a different deal, Mike, for when you coach, 2 full days off, sometimes even 3. So much prep time for both of these coaching staffs to feel each other out as that chess match continues back and forth.
Well, that happens nowadays in that first round because they want to show so many games and they spread it out. But then it closes down a little bit as you move on.
Another late whistle. That'll put Wade at the free throw line. Appeared to be the right call as Wade took a shot across his right shoulder. Just to get back to Wade, this is his 11th postseason appearance, 13th year in the league, but he said this certainly feels different. First time he's been back here since the departure of LeBron James. Chris Bosh, his other sidekick, sideline. Boy, a little under 2 games into this series, this Miami team, Mike, looks awfully strong in the Eastern Conference.
One of the teams that when you look back at the last couple weeks of the season, you said, you know what, this team has a chance in the playoffs, and everyone obviously holding their breath, hoping that Chris Bosh is okay, and that if they ever had Bosh back again, think about it, you can get 20 points from Bosh from behind the 3-point line and get 20 from Whiteside in front of the rim. That's not a bad combination to have.
This is Hawes, wants to take Johnson. A fake spin, nicely done by Spencer Hawes, the 9th-year vet. So 4 quick points for Hawes off the bench. And again, only an 8-point game with 3:15 remaining. Al Jefferson still on the Hornets bench. He's got 25 points. That's Wade. And a loose ball foul on Whiteside. Miami in the penalty. That's the 5th foul on Whiteside. And Charlotte with a chance to cut it to 6.
Amazing how they have snuck back in the game. So much time left, just over 3 minutes in the 4th quarter. They make these 2 free throws. You're looking up at just a 6-point deficit.
Hawes is a good free throw shooter. 83% on the season. Misses on the first. Pause the journeyman, 9th year in the league. Former lottery pick of Sacramento back in 2007. Seven-point game with 3 and change remaining.
Spiro, how about after 72 points in the first half for Miami, just 33 points up to this part of the fourth quarter.
Miami has gone more than 4 minutes since their last bucket. Wade, right on cue. When in doubt, throw it down to your 12-time All-Star.
Dwayne Wade and Courtney Lee have had something going on now since Wade was back at the foul line a while ago. They were talking to each other, and after Wade made that one, he made sure he got right up to Courtney Lee's face to let him know something.
I'm sure you want to poke that bear, certainly not in this building. Here comes Walker underneath. They got a piece of it. Walker took a shot. Lynn gets it off in time, and that is a shot clock violation. It looked like Walker took a shot right to the chops. No foul called as Steve Clifford pleading his case to the officials.
Dwayne Wade, big bucket for the Heat just when it got down to close time.
Tonight's play of the game presented by Sonic. 2:19 mark of this fourth quarter. Dwayne Wade. And this Miami offense showing its complete arsenal down the stretch.
Big man Whiteside with the mismatch. He's too much to handle in front of the rim. This is execution time. This is defensive time. This is rebounding time. You get your best guys out there to handle these situations. For Charlotte, they've got to decide who's going to make a shot for them. Miami, execution. Get to the line, make your free throws. No turnovers. So important.
See what the Heat have done offensively over their last 8 home games. This was a Heat offense that pre-All-Star break averaged 96 points. After the All-Star break, over 107 per game. Staggering turnaround. Shot clock down to 4. This is Johnson. Outside Richardson. 1 to shoot. Forces up a 3. Boy, appeared to be some contact. That's a shot clock violation. So Charlotte gets it back with $1:54 to play. And the difference, only 9 points.
One of the best defensive sequences for Charlotte. Coming out of that timeout, they knew how much time was left on the clock. They knew they had to get a stop, and they did that.
If you just joined us, Charlotte playing without its second leading scorer, Nicholas Batum, turned his left ankle earlier in the half. Walker turned it over. Wade ahead of the field, right over the top of Courtney Lee. And he stares him down again.
What a huge turnover at that moment for Charlotte. They got the defensive stop, and here they go again. Wow, dang, with the finish. Turnovers, easy buckets.
Timeout, Charlotte. Well, this juggernaut of a Miami Heat offense that steamrolled the Hornets in Game 1 has continued tonight. Defense into offense. Wade with 2 of his 26.
Kemba Walker with the first timeout, which leads to Wade's 2 points, and then anticipating the pass back to Hawes. Luol Deng steps up, steals it, finishes it, turns a 9-point lead. Suddenly, they've got 4 quick points on the board, up to 13.
Mike, I know that Cleveland is the runaway favorite in the eyes of a lot of people in the Eastern Conference playoffs. How impressed have you been with Miami so far, about 2 games into the series?
It's only 2 games, and you know that when Charlotte goes back home in their building with their crowd, you have to win on the road, which is tough to do in the NBA. But this Miami team has a chance.
Strong move to the cup by Walker. That gets the Hornets to the century mark, but they're down 11 as they'll try to extend the game here. Still going for the steal, and finally Lee is whistled on a reach-in foul. Again, game 3 of this series, Saturday in Charlotte, so 2 full days of preparation and rest after tonight. Another look at the left ankle sprain. This was Batum earlier in the half, and boy, he's going to need those 2 full days of rest, as all eyes will be on his status as we get set for game 3.
Probably in that locker room right now, and a bucket of ice. I'm sure there's very little swelling if possible.
Mike, what's it like this time of year, not only as a player but as a coach? Round-the-clock preparation, the emotional swings game to game. What's it like?
It's a very difficult time, particularly, you know, the coaching staff is up doing all the preparation for not only this opponent, obviously, but who's coming up next, if you should move on. You've got to have a lot of help from your assistants that you trust and believe in formulating your game plan. And for the players, it's the pressure of handling, okay, the physicalness of the playoffs, the fact that the shots become harder to get because your opponent is more prepared. There are no circumstances. They're not back-to-back nights, 3 games in 4 nights, 4 games in 5 nights, traveling and getting in at 3 o'clock in the morning and having to play. This is even. It's an even table for everyone. That's why it makes it so hard to succeed in the playoffs.
It was such a mystery here in terms of how this Heat franchise would recover after the departure of LeBron James. They missed the playoffs last year for the first time since '08. And then slowly, Pat Riley started to rebuild the nucleus of this team. He drafts Justice Winslow, brings in Josh Richardson. And despite losing Chris Bosh for the final 3 months of the season, this Miami team looks as good as we've seen, certainly going back to 2014. That's an incredible recovery as a franchise, as they are seconds away from going up 2 games to none.
And finishing this game, by the way, with 2 rookies on the floors. Lynn misses the layup, Deng gets the rebound. They're small, they're athletic. They defend this group that's out on the floor right now, and enough confidence to have 2 rookies out there to finish the game.
Dwayne Wade turning the clock back, 28 points. One of the rare misses that we've seen from him in this game. But Wade did it, got all the help he needed, as Courtney Lee tips it home and a foul. So a chance at a 3-point play, but a little bit too little too late, with just 25 seconds remaining. Oh, one thing about the Hornets, and you touched on this earlier, Mike, they have been a resilient team. Won 7 of their final 10 games to close the regular season. A lot of basketball left to be played as this series now switches to Charlotte. But clearly a lot to talk about for the Hornets, especially defensively.
And Steve Clifford will make them understand that all they have to do is win the next game. That's what's important. You're not looking at the whole series now. You're looking at the next game, because once you get past that next game, if you win that one, it's 2-1, and you're back in your building once again.
The Miami Heat take a commanding 2-0 series lead. They will have to inbound it once more time. 0.7 on the clock. Put up a little bit extra time, actually, as the horn sounds, and now it's over. 115-103 your final, as Dwayne Wade leads the Heat with his 28 points. Kemba Walker paces the Hornets with 29 and 25 off the bench from Al Jefferson. Dwayne Wade standing by with Rebecca Harlow.
Thanks, Spiro. Well, Charlotte made this one interesting. 7-point game there with 3 minutes to go. How did you guys approach the last couple minutes here?
Well, we just had to execute. We had to get some stops. I mean, You know, Kemba Walker was coming at us all night. Al Jefferson was coming at us as well. But we had to buckle down and get some stops. On the offensive end, we had to execute. And we know it's going to be some close games in this series both ways. It's two good teams. So, we know we're trying to protect home floor, and we had to do whatever we had to do today to get a win.
This is one of the better three-point shooting teams in the league, yet 1 for 16 tonight for Charlotte. What have you liked about your defense?
I don't know. We got lucky. They missed some. You know, that team is all year, especially second half of the season, they've been knocking down shots. We got to expect that they're going to make half of those and not more when we get to Charlotte. So we got to be able to make the adjustments. Today we got a little lucky.
Another huge game from you tonight, but something that we're seeing, you guys are relying on your rookies, both of them in the game late here. What have you seen from the Young Bucks?
Well, they're ready to play. You know, these two guys have worked very hard. We believe in them. Everything on this team works. Our success works with everybody being involved. And from 1 to 15, and them guys are just as important as myself and Lou Wild and Goran. So they understand that, and they're out there performing.
Congrats, Dwayne.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Spiro, back to you.
Well, just another night at the office for Dwayne Wade in what has been a spectacular 13-year NBA career here in the Heat, up 2 games to none in this best-of-7 series. Special thanks to our fantastic crew, our producer, Bert Bondi, our director, Andy Goldberg, our associate director, Daryl Marshall, graphics producers, Chris Nelson and Josh Schrager, and our statistician, Rich Gaynor. What a night for the Miami Heat. They shoot 58% and defeat Charlotte 115 to 103. Now for Mike Fratello, Rebecca Harlow, Spiro Dita saying goodnight from Miami. Coming up next, Game Time presented by Kia. We'll send you to Vince Cellini after this in Atlanta.